Episode 11, Transparency, Part 2. Warning, listeners' discretion is advised for mature audience only. Hey, look, check this out. Before getting into this episode, I would like to take a moment to give a moment of silence for and to send my condolences to all of the many men and women who have lost their lives or who may have lost family or friends to the countless wars that were fought around the world, foreign and domestic. This recording is by no means meant to show a blatant disregard to those who have lost and sacrificed so much to the point of relinquishing their souls. And with all due respect, that moment of silence will start now. Now, without further ado, in this recording of Transparency Part 2, I would reveal to you just how powerful the oaths and affirmations of the AWM Guidebook for Life are. And a while back, after learning that the FBI, the TBI, the ATF, and everybody else in law enforcement were all over my trail for a series of prank letters that I sent out from the prison to the streets, claiming to be a prisoner who is about to escape and go on a shooting and bombing spree all over this country, I sent one of the internal affairs ladies at the prison a letter that read, "We need to talk, because I have some valuable information for you that could save the lives of a lot of people." And I sent her this letter out of hopes that she would come to the unit and role play with me a script to a book that I wrote entitled Eccentric, as I read it to her and her voice recorder. But when she came out to the unit, she said that she would not be role playing any parts of the book with me, and the only reason why she had even came to the unit and agreed to record me in the first place was because I told her that I had some valuable information for her to save the lives of a lot of people. However, faced with this dilemma of her not wanting to role play with me, I did not let this squander my opportunity to read to her and her voice recorder. Instead, I gave her script to Moneypox, and he said that he would role play her part for me, being that he speaks in a high-pitched voice anyway. And that's when he and I took to the stage and role played to her and her recorder my book, Eccentric. So, yeah, here in this episode of Transparency Part 2, you would hear me as I role play my part in my normal low-pitched voice, and you would hear Moneypox as he role play her part in his normal high-pitched voice. And amongst a lot of other things that we revealed to her the power of our oath and affirmations. Were leading things off with our inward affirmations. I started by saying that I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am whole. And I will stop there to reveal to you the reason why I affirmed this over my life. And the reason why is because when I first started to affirm this over my life, I was not healthy, I was not wealthy, and I was not whole. I was suffering from drug addiction, and I did not have any wealth at all, period, besides the knowledge of my mind. And because of this, I felt as incomplete as a puzzle of 1,000 missing pieces. But because I affirmed this over my life, I believe that this is what led me to getting clean and ridding my body of the drugs that I was addicted to, which is what brought about my good health. And in the sense that health is wealth, I believe that this is what brought about and still is bringing about my wholeness. So, yeah, moving right along. I am rich, I am powerful, I am bold. And again, when I first started to affirm these things over my life, I was not as rich or as powerful or as bold as I would have liked to have been. But because I affirmed these things over my life, I believe that this is what attracted and still is attracting to me riches, power, and boldness. So, yeah, moving right along. My magnetosphere is stronger than ever. Now, for those of you who do not know what your magnetosphere is, your magnetosphere is the center of your being that attracts to you or repel from you the things that you want or the things that you don't want. And I don't need to tell you that when I first started to affirm this over my life, my magnetosphere was not stronger than ever. But because I affirmed this over my life, my magnetosphere has become and is stronger than ever. So, yeah, moving right along. I attract money, power, respect, influence, resources, opportunities, freedom, and success. And if I haven't said anything thus far to blow your mind, I am convinced that what I'm about to say now will bring about a massive explosion and money. Sitting across from me now is a well put together woman from her head to her feet. She keeps her hair and nails done. Her makeup stays on point. She stays dressed in the finest designer clothes, shoes, and jewels. And looking at her, I can tell that she spares no expense when it comes to living life lavish. And because I sent her a letter not too long ago where I told her that we need to talk because there is something big that is about to go down that I will only reveal to you. I like to believe that I attracted her and her money bag right to me from how I knew that she would have no other choice but to come see me to gather intel of the something big that is about to go down. And with that said, I am now moved to ask her and her money bag to let me borrow $1,000.
I can't let you borrow $1,000. Huh?
Yes, you can. All you have to do is go to jpay.com. That's the letter J, PAY.com, and type in my TDOC number 441514 and put it on my books. That's all.
I can't let you borrow $1,000. Huh?
All right, whatever. Moving right along. Power. I can even go so far to use you as an example here too. And I say that because they tell me that the internal affairs are the most powerful people here at the prison. And at first I couldn't believe it, but then they go on to tell me, yeah, the internal affairs are even more powerful than the wardens, because if the internal affairs suspected that the wardens are dirty, they can open an investigation on the wardens. And if it is founded that the wardens are dirty, they can fire the wardens. And after hearing this, I was like, wow, now here I am sitting across from the internal affairs recording an audio book. So, yeah, I'll say that I attract power, moving right along, respect. And I can use you as an example here as well. For reason being, I'm quite sure that with all of the attention that I have on me right now from all of the many prank letters that I sent out to the streets telling people that I am a prisoner who is about to escape and go on a shooting and bombing spree all over this country, and from the letter that I sent you telling you that we need to talk because something big is about to go down, your superiors are probably on the edge of their seats right now. Can't wait until you return to lace them up on the something big that is about to go down. And because you respect your superiors, who respect their superiors, who respect their superiors, who respect their superiors, who all want answers as to just what I have got going on, I'll say that I attract respect. Correct me if I'm wrong. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. Huh?
Yes. Moving right along. Influence. Back in December of 2024, the library officer came in the park and she asked me if I still write books. And I told her, yeah. And she told me, well, we just started something new to where we make copies of you guys' books in the library and showcase them among the prison community to where you all could converse back and forth with what you all think. Then she asked me if I would like to submit one of my books to be showcased in the month of February 2025. And I told her, yeah, sure, why not? And she told me, well, get it ready, and I'll be back to get it around the middle of January. And I said, okay. And she left. Then around the beginning of January, she came back in the park, and she told me, now, about your books. And I couldn't do nothing but laugh as she continued with, I just had a talk with my bosses, and they told me, and I told them of what I have going on in the library with making copies and showcasing you guys' books among the prison community. And they told me that it is a good idea, but then they asked me who all I had in mind, and I told them of who I had in mind for January, and they said that he was cool. But when I told them that I had you for February, they stopped me and said, no, not him. And when I asked, but why not? He's a great author. They said, that's the problem. He's too great of an author. This man is so great of an author that he has literally got the FBI, the TBI, the ATF, and everybody else in law enforcement coming down here to the prison inquiring about him and his books. And the last thing we need is for his books to be floating around the compound to give other prisoners bright ideas. Then she said, I'm sorry, Mr. Eccles, but I can't showcase your books. And I said, it's okay. I kind of figured that anyway. And she left. And that's one story. Another story was when I gave another officer a copy of the AWM Guidebook Life and told him, man, this book is so good. I just released it last week, and they're telling me that it's already all over the United States. And he said, man, since you say the book is that good, I can't wait to read it. And he left to go read it. And when he returned, he told me, man, I'm just going to start calling you the influencer. And I asked, why is that? And he said, because, man, that book is so influential. And with that said, I'll say that I attract influence. Moving right along, resources. Now, I know that you may be tired of me using you as examples, but as I look at you, I can't help but to think about how resourceful you must be. As to the reason why I asked you the other day if you could help me find a wife, and even though you told me no, I believe that you can. As to the reason why I chose to be slick about this whole thing by having you to record me saying that I need a wife, because I know that with all the things that I am saying on this recording, you will have to take it to your superiors, who will have to take it to their superiors, who will have to take it to their superiors. And in my mind, once this recording make it to the ears of that lucky lady who God had predestined to be my wife, she would reach out to me, and we would get to know each other, and we would get married, and we would have kids, and we would live happily ever after, where the only two requirements that I would require of her is to love God, one, and love Jesus, two. And with that being said, I'll say that I attract resources. Moving right along, opportunities. Now, do you remember the drawing that I sent you a while back of those 5 boxes, where in the top left box was a snowman, in the top right box was a sun shining, in the bottom left box were clouds crying, in the bottom right box was a tree shedding its leaves, and in the middle box were big bold letters that read, the movie Pranking Season, coming soon. Do you remember that drawing?
Yeah, I remember. Huh?
Well, I sent that drawing to you and a lot of other officials at the prison, and I told you all that the movie Pranking Season was coming soon. But what I should have told you all is that the movie Pranking Season is here now, year-round, from how I am living out the movie by sending out prank letters from the prison nonstop, telling people that I am a prisoner who is about to escape and go on a shooting and bombing spree all over this country just to get them to panic and go read my books to try and figure out my escape route. You see, in my book, The Thoughts That Hunt Me, I told the people that I am an actor who takes pleasure in performing. And I told them that I am very fascinating, that I make people want to watch me. But being that I cannot go to Hollywood to showcase my talent right now because of my imprisonment, I just figured that I would bring Hollywood to me. And you may ask, how you plan to do that? And I'll tell you, by pranking them, by telling them that I am a prisoner who is about to escape and go on a shooting and bombing spree all over this country. This is what will get their attention. And once I have gotten their attention, that's when I would soothe their cerebellum with my loquacious vernacular to the point that they would be like, we have got to get him on the big screen. And they would seek ways to do it. But little do they know, if for whatever reason they are unsuccessful at getting me on the big screen, I am still going to put myself on the big screen. And that's part of the reason why I sent you that letter and told you that we need to talk, because I just wanted to use this opportunity to get some content for my movie, Pranking Season. And I also wanted to use this opportunity to ask you to give me a cell phone.
I can't give you a cell phone. Huh?
And you know what? I knew you was going to say that. And that's why I chose to be slick about it and put this on your recording too, because one thing about it, once this thing make it all the way to the top, somebody gonna give me a cell phone just so I can record. And with that being said, I'll say that I attract opportunities. Moving right along, freedom. Now, every time that I cry escape, I get one step closer to my freedom. You see, in light of the law of attraction and the mastermind alliance, every time that I prank somebody and tell them that I am about to escape, I put them in a sort of an involuntary mastermind alliance with me, from how I make them panic and habitually think of me escaping, which is what causes the law of attraction to go to work and the mastermind alliance to be strengthened, because as people panic and habitually think of me escaping, they go and tell other people who also panic and tell other people, and before long, the panicking news of me escaping has become hypnotic rhythm and big talk. And once it has become hypnotic rhythm and big talk, this is what causes people to investigate to find out exactly who I am. And once they do their investigation, they will see how I was never supposed to be in prison in the first place, from all of the injustice that was done in my case to convict me. And this is what will cause them to come set me free, which is what would bring about my escape. But that's another story, and we will talk more about that later. So, yeah, I'll say that I attract freedom. Moving right along, success. What is success? Success is when preparation meets opportunity. And in the sense that I prepare for everything, including this meeting, I'll say that I attract success. So, yeah, moving right along. I shall succeed at whatever I put my mind to. Now, I believe that my mind is the most valuable asset that I have. And if I operate in the mind frame of a failure, I would fail, which is at the same time saying that I would succeed at failing. So instead of operating in the mind frame of a failure, I operate in the mind frame of a success. And I tell myself that I shall succeed at whatever I put my mind to, which is what makes me succeed at whatever I put my mind to. So, yeah, moving right along. I will not think against myself today, tomorrow, or the day after. Now, I've learned that to think against yourself is to be a double-minded person. And because the Bible tells me that a double-minded person is unstable in all its ways, James 1:8, I affirm over my life that I will not think against myself today, tomorrow, or the day after. So, yeah, moving right along. If shall I do think against myself, I would dead those thoughts immediately. Now, with me being human and with me having thoughts that are contrary to one another, I know that if I am not careful, negative thoughts will creep in from outside sources and poison the well of my positive thinking. And with me knowing this, I inwardly affirm to myself that if shall I do think against myself, I would dead those thoughts immediately. So, yeah, moving right along. If have I done thought against myself, I remove all power from those thoughts right now. And because I know that I am a human being who have thoughts that are contrary to one another, and because I know that if I am not careful, negative thoughts will creep in from outside sources and poison the well of my positive thinking, here is where I tell myself that if have I done thought against myself, I remove all power from those thoughts right now. And I do this because I know the powers of my subconscious mind. And if I allow negative thoughts to creep in and stay, they will manifest themselves in my life because as a man thinketh, so is he. So, yeah, moving right along. I am very resilient. I am very brilliant. I am very marvelous. I am very magnificent. I am the best, and I get better every day. SMB, sober-minded beast, and SMB, so many blessings raining down upon me. Amen. Now, as I think about these last 7 entries of my inward affirmations, I can't help but to think of a conversation that I had with a mental health counselor where she told me that the mental health doctor told her that after assessing me and reading my books with orders that he got from the commissioner of Tennessee prisons, he finds that I am far from crazy and that I am very manipulative and that I am very narcissistic. And as I think about what she told me that he told her, I can't help but to agree with his assessment of me because as I think about these last 7 entries of my inward affirmations, I can't help but to think about how I manipulate myself to think highly of myself. And if that isn't narcissistic behavior, then I don't know what is. Anyway, I could stay here in these inward affirmations and go deeper with you on why I found it necessary to include them in my prayers that I recite to myself 3 times a day, but because there is still a lot of ground that I must cover here today, I must keep it moving and moving right along. The oath. Now, again, if I haven't said anything thus far to blow your mind, I am more than convinced that what I'm about to say now would do just that. And in the oath of the AWM Guidebook for Life, I was led by God to write, I am you, you are me, together we are one with thee, greatest spirit, greatest soul, and never shall we break that mold. Amen. Now, I know that after hearing me say that God led me to write this, 2% of the people will say, man, God didn't lead you to write it. And to those 2%, I would say, go and read John 14:20 and see where Jesus said that in that day you would know that I am in my Father and you in me and I in you. And go and read John 17:20 through 23 and see where Jesus said that I do not ask for these only, but also for those who will believe in me through their word, that they may all be one, just as you, Father, are in me and I in you, that they also may be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. The glory that you have given me, I have given them, that they may be one, even as we are one, I in them and you in me, that they may become perfectly one, so that the world may know that you sent me and loved them even as you loved me. But that's not what I was talking about that's going to blow your mind, though. What I was talking about that's going to blow your mind is this. Once I was led to write the oath in the AWM Guidebook for Life, I was led to believe that the oath is what would cause 98% of the people who go and read the AWM Guidebook for Life to trade places with me, from how it causes them to put themselves in my shoes and look at life through my eyes, which is what makes me into their spirit to become them and them to become me. And from there, in the outward affirmations, I tell them that you are healthy, you are wealthy, you are whole, you are rich, you are powerful, you are bold. Your magnetic sphere is stronger than ever. You attract money, power, respect, influence, resources, opportunities, freedom, and success. You shall succeed at whatever you put your mind to. You will not think against yourself today, tomorrow, or the day after. If shall you do think against yourself, you will dead those thoughts immediately. If have you done thought against yourself, you remove all power from those thoughts right now. You are very resilient. You are very brilliant. You are very marvelous. You are very magnificent. You are the best, and you get better every day. SMB, sober-minded beast, and SMB, so many blessings raining down upon you. Amen. And after Moneypox and I were done role-playing and reading my book, Eccentric, to her and her recorder, I told her to now take this recording to your superiors and leak it on YouTube and to news broadcasters everywhere. And by so doing, you will be saving the lives of a lot of people. But for whatever reason, she did not do it. And because she didn't leak it, she has left me no choice but to leak it myself. And to learn more about me, you can always subscribe to my YouTube channel at Romarcus Echoes and my podcast at First General. And you can always write me at Romarcus Echoes, TDOC number 441514, address 7475 Cockrell Bean Boulevard, Nashville, Tennessee 37243. And to support me to where you can hear more of me, you can always put money on my books at jpay.com. That's the letter J, P-A-Y.com. Straight up. Until next time, stay up. Peace.